Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hoopy186 back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Jeremy Lin, the former New York Knicks point guard. He's on his way to Houston via free agency, and not a lot of Knicks fans are upset about this. Now, let me start off by saying I am a huge Knicks hater. I hate the fucking Knicks. Their team sucks. Their fans suck. Everything about that team sucks. The New York Knicks are the most overrated franchise in the history of sports. In fact, not only are the Knicks the most overrated team in the history of sports, the Jets are as well. But it's not about the Jets. Right now we're talking about the Knicks. So obviously, and they've been irrelevant, for like a decade and a half. And then, obviously they had this little Chinese kid come by, and, he dazzles everybody while he's going up against teams that have shitty point guards and shit like that. And, he's made to look better than what he really is. Now, I'm not here to say that he's a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a good point guard. He's not worth the money he's making in Houston, but he's a good point guard. Excuse me. So, he's a good point guard, but he's not worth the money. And obviously, a lot of Knicks fans are upset because of their replacement. Now, here's the thing. At one point I do agree. He's not worth the money, but his replacement, a fat, lazy Raymond Felton, and then you also have the old, inefficient Jason Kidd, who apparently doesn't realize that drinking and driving is a bad thing. Their options are not very good. But on the other hand, you have Carmelo, overrated ass. You have Amare, who likes to punch fucking glass windows. Those two guys are your stars anyway. Plus, Jeremy Lin's game and Carmelo Anthony's game, they don't mesh. Like Jeremy Lin is a pick and roll player. Carmelo Anthony's a fucking ball hog. It don't match. It don't mesh. But the problem with the Knicks over the years has been they just spent their money extremely poorly, very poorly. So you can't expect them to be like, oh well, let's pay Jeremy Lin all this fucking money and expect him to you're just continuing the trend of overpaying for guys. Especially when you just signed Kidd and Felton, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, before I leave, let me just talk about something else. Now, obviously the Heat, took care of business against the Knicks and this past playoffs. And Jeremy Lin, he was, according to him, he was 15% to the minimum, or some bullshit like that. I have the link below. Where I have a couple links below when I get a chance of what he said. But basically, he was 85% for I think it was game 3 or 4. I think even for the entire series, but he didn't want to play because, according to him, a couple of veterans on the team said, no, you don't risk it, don't risk it. I find that very hard to believe. I want to hear who said this to him. I want to hear who said this to him. You know what I mean? Because you have Amar Shumpert, your homeboy, clutching his knee on the ground in fucking pain. I think he had a torn ACL, or so. I think he had the same injury Derrick Rose had. And then you have, I think a game or two later, you have in New York, you have Baron Davis, basically kneecap collapsed, and you're telling me that you're in a suit, 85% healthy, and you're telling me you can't play? Because you're not ready to play. When you have Mike Miller on a broken back, knocking down threes from downtown, you have Dwayne Wade on a bad knee. Come on, man. It's obvious what he did. And listen, I don't begrudge any player from trying to make his money. That's him. He do what he gotta do, to make that money. I have no problem with that. But when you basically sit out the series, when you seem like you're healthy enough to play, You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. I ain't buying that shit. It's completely obvious what he did. He wanted to protect his future investment, which was all that money that Houston was going to pay him. So, anyways, the Knicks suck. The Knicks are irrelevant again. What else is new? Anyways, who you 186? I'm out.